Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our neck of the woods. How are you guys doing today? Hope this finds everyone doing well. Oh, apparently I should have adjusted that some more before I came in. So we'll give it a couple minutes and let everybody pop in here and before I start talking jibber jabbering. I am going to do a little bit of painting today. Um, so there's going to be that. There we go. Now people are hopping on. Hello and welcome. Um, so I know I missed a lot of you last night at our late night rounds. Uh, I don't know what came over me. I was just, I guess, exhausted. But I'll tell you this: every time I even came into a partial uh, awakening last night, waking up, just kind of, that moment before you open your eyes, I could just feel all this energy last night, and then it continued to happen to me through the night. And then when I woke up this morning, I said something to my husband about, like, boy, I was doing an awful lot of downloading last night. And he said, yeah, me too. And I wondered how that may or may not be working with everybody else. Are you guys getting your I don't know what you want to call them, cosmic updates or whatever? Um, I could sure feel so much energy around me last night, though. Hey, Sue, good to see you. Um, but I thought that was very interesting, that feeling. And then it continued all evening. I fell asleep very early, and then I woke up for maybe a 10 or 15-minute segment last night, and then I went right back to bed. And there's the needing of rest, but I don't know. I think that something else was going on. I kind of feel like I was doing downloads last night, just loading all kinds of information. So as I process it in the coming days, I'll let you guys know. Hey, Crystal, good to see you. So yeah, I was really curious to find out if that was something that anybody else has been going through or feeling or even thinking that they're experiencing, because I do know there are quite a few people out there who think they are experiencing these things in the time that we're in. Um, and I think it's really an amazing thing. And so now I've got to wait and see how I process it, because I couldn't for the life of you tell I for the life of me I couldn't tell you how much information was in those downloads. But I certainly felt that that's exactly what it was. It was like it was knowing that I was receiving information from somewhere out there. It was really amazing, though. It was a great feeling, and hopefully, it leads me on to some new adventures and new knowledge. New knowledge is always great, right? Just the amount of things under the sun that we haven't got a clue about. Uh, I find it very, very fascinating that we have these old world remnants all over the continent, when supposedly these continents had been found during specific periods and not before, although there were people living on them, um, and all these founded cities and things. So I find it very intriguing and very interesting to look into that. And Raina and I this morning had actually watched something on an Atlantean ring that had been found in Australia, which I find very remarkable. I mean, the land of Australia is very remarkable to start with. If you think about it, let's talk about just animal life, right? There are things in Australia that exist nowhere else in the world. And when you see that, kangaroos, koalas, platypuses, river dolphins, freshwater river dolphins. Oh no, I think that's in the Amazon. Still, if you look at different locations around the world, many of the animals in any one area have at least relatives, right, in another area. So, like bears, there are a million different kinds of bears, and they're spread across the planet, but they're all related. They're all in the bear family. Um, monkeys, same thing. Spiders, right? Um, the amount of unique to that country animals is astounding if you think about it. That's not even including plant life, right? I mean, think about the remarkability. And we're told that once our lands were all joined together and they were broken apart. And this is how we have tigers in India and Africa. And, all these different things that we are told as part of our stories. Um, and it just makes you wonder, how did Australia end up with like the 10 deadliest snakes on the planet, right? Venom more poisonous than the poisonous snakes everywhere else in the world. And there are poisonous snakes everywhere else in the world. Uh, and the spiders and just the different flora and fauna. Like redwoods, right? Redwoods are found in California. Where else? Nowhere. Cedars of Lebanon are related, but they're not the same tree. Um, hey, Bonnie, good to see you, hon. So I thought I would paint a little bit, and I thought we might have someone come up and talk a little bit with me. But I just thought that was very interesting. And so that's what I was talking with Raina about this morning, because as far as they can tell, these rings that they're finding down there in in Australia are Atlantean. And I thought it was very interesting because they've done the chemical compositions of them. So they know all the metals that are in them. They know the only recipe for the metals that these are made of were said to be exhausted in the time of Pliny the Elder. So that's ancient, right? I mean, that's older than our known history. And there are some other reasons that they have that they validate that. But when I watch stuff like that with her, it's always very interesting to see what her take is, on it. Because when she was like 3 or 4, she all of a sudden developed a very serious interest in Lemuria, which up until that point I hadn't even really heard about except for a passing mention in a book, and I didn't realize that it was the land of Mu, which is Lemuria, Mu. So it's been an exciting journey to just to find different things and to explore the possibilities, because there are always more than one possibility, and we can't always go by the narrative, right? What was it I saw the other day? I was watching a documentary or something, and it said, autodidactic mind. I like that guy. That guy's channel is pretty interesting. And autodidactic means self-taught. And he had something and it said his story is not our story. And it was about history. His story is not our story. And I thought that was super interesting. And of course, one thing always leads to another. And that's how, of course, you begin to research. And you, when you're doing really good research, there's always a thread. There's always a thread of thought that you follow that begins your journey. But then when you get in there and you find out that that one thread may have many brothers and sisters and may indeed actually be a rope rather than just a single thread, you have to open yourself up to those other lines of thinking and see where do they plug in together, right? So I think all the best researchers are the ones that have started with one hypothesis and ended with another. And that's just my opinion. But that means that their minds were open to the possibility that even their hypothesis was not correct. And in doing so, they've learned so much more. So I think it's important to have that open-mindedness. So how's everybody doing? Bonnie, honey, I am so sorry I missed your show last night. I was knocked out. And then I kept waking, like I would have these little, or I'd wake, but just enough. I wouldn't even open my eyes. I wouldn't even get my eyes open, but there was so much just energy and stuff just in and around and everything last night. And I thought, wow. I woke up this morning and I said to Jeff, I was like, wow, I was busy doing a lot of downloads last night. I thought, wow. I woke up this morning and I said to Jeff, I was like, hi, hun.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I missed you so much last night, but I was asleep before Liberty Warrior came on last night. So anything that happened between the hours of like 7:30 and beyond is beyond me. I must have really needed it because I've never passed out like that.
That's good. You probably did need it.
Yeah.
A lot of people I've been hearing say that, and I think it's just we need more time to recharge than we think. Besides just regular hours.
Yeah. Well, no, I would even through the night last night, I would wake up to that point like where you're awake, but you haven't opened your eyes yet. You know, like that when you wake in the middle of the night thing. And It was just, I could feel like all these, it was just like these swirling energy vortexes or whatever. I don't know. It was really, it was very cool. I didn't feel like I was overwhelmed or I didn't feel anything negative at all, like about it, you know. So I thought, oh, I must be downloading some cosmic information. Cool. I wonder how long it's going to take me to figure this stuff out, this new information out. My processor seems to be running pretty slow lately.
I did listen to your show yesterday. That was good.
Oh yeah, Pappy was, boy, he was spot on so much stuff yesterday. And I kept seeing a painting in my head there right at the end, and I don't know if I'll paint it or not because I'm almost out of canvases.
Uh-oh.
Such is life. Well, you can't buy more canvas without selling some paintings, and you can't sell any paintings if nobody's buying. So, you know.
Well, I ordered one.
Yes, I know. I'm working on that actually today. See, I have that up here. I got that one up here today.
Awesome.
Yeah. Because the other day I was going to work on it, and I was like, well, where did I put it? I have the base done. Where did I put the base? And then I couldn't find the base. It wasn't with the rest of them. I had forgotten I left it on my easel because I have this nifty little easel box, and I had it on there and forgot all about it. But I have it pulled up in an alternate window and everything. Hey, Crystal, good to see you, hon.
Whoops.
Uh-oh, she dropped out. Come back.
I don't know if I've ever seen Crystal.
I don't think I've ever seen her come up, and I think that's fantastic.
Yes. Jump back up.
Yes, please.
Man, I am just tearing my thumb.
What are you doing that? Pardon me. What are you doing that for?
I have a stressed thumb. I used to bite my nails like all the time, all my life. And then after the girls were born, I just quit, except for my thumb. He quit.
I have. I'll get where I used to chew my nails all the time when I was younger, and then I got to a point where I didn't anymore. Good morning, Robert.
Yeah.
And now instead of chewing them, I rip them. I'll like pick at them until I get a little thing, and then I'll just rip off my whole nail, and then I have really lovely, strong, long nails until I get in that thing, and then I rip them all off.
Yep, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like hide it,
It's,
hide the Band-Aid over it. So.
yeah, make sure it doesn't get infected. You don't want your fingers getting like that.
No. Hi, Robert.
Crystal, try to come back up.
One thing I noticed in y'all's chat yesterday, when Mother was mentioned, you disappeared.
Me?
And yes, and it seems like I don't know. It's almost like you don't like that word, but the way I see it is when I hear mother, I don't even associate it with mine or anything like that. It for me, it's a good feeling. I, I have this tendency to be a mother to all, and so it's it's not a bad word to me. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I
it's not
feel
a
like
bad word to me either.
it's a good
I've had,
one.
I've
Okay.
had, yeah. I mean, I've had many women that I've adopted as mothers in my lifetime, uh, and I strongly believe that the Earth has a mother energy.
No,
That's not a
definitely.
bad word to me at all.
Okay.
I have had
I,
negative connotations with it in the past, but I didn't know that was happening. You mean is that when my signal was dropping out?
it may have been. You're just um I think Pappy was reading the spider or Robert, one of them.
One of
And
them. It just seemed like I was disappearing from chat every time it came up.
well,
That's
just as
weird.
soon as I said mother, then you turned your camera off, and you may have just turned your camera off just to listen, because a lot of times I'll do that too.
Raina kept coming out and talking to me and wanting me to answer her, and I had to keep turning off stuff yesterday. And I was like, "Honey, I'm live. What do you want, hun? Let's get it done so we can get it moving."
Yeah,
Hi,
I
Crystal.
understand.
And Jeff was
Hi.
drilling yesterday in the background, so I was trying to keep the drilling out of the show. How are you, hun?
Okay, I'm
I'm doing pretty good. How about y'all?
Pretty good.
doing
Feeling
good.
very well.
Is that Crystal?
Yes.
I can't see. I was just telling Tatum. I said I need to figure out if I
I
have enough
just
money
got
for
me a
glasses. I
computer,
gotta get.
so I'm trying it out.
Oh, excellent. Well, your sound is
Well, it
good.
sounds. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What's that? Oh, I sat on my glasses this morning and haven't quite been able to get them right since. I bent them back into shape, but
Yeah. Are yours metal?
yeah, they're a thin metal frame. They're just Dollar Tree glasses. That's all I can afford.
Yeah. Um, I used to be able to get away with that, but I failed the eye test at the driving place, so it's prescription now. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking about going back to metal. I don't. I mean, the plastic are okay. They last. They don't bend or anything like that. But
No, they don't bend at all. They break. I've snapped a
yeah,
couple of flat ones.
I just think I'm going back to wire.
What are you doing today, Crystal?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hi,
You having
LHS.
you having lovely weather? It's beautiful outside today where we're at.
It's getting cold and hot.
That's the way it is here. It's cloudy. If the sun came out, it would be a whole lot better. But I think we're at 70.
70 something. Hi Anna. Hi LHS.
73, and I'm out here with a sweater and a jacket, but the
That's not
wind
too
is cool.
Y'all have back
bad.
feed on me?
Do what?
What's that? You still there?
Yes, ma'am.
We didn't quite catch what you said.
I said, do y'all hear a lot of back feed?
No, ma'am.
No. I hear it when I talk, but I know I turn the YouTube off. I don't know what it is.
Hold on.
Uh-oh. Reloading again, I think.
Yeah. She said, hold on. That's a good song by Billy Falcon, too. Hold on.
Yeah, I like his music. I do. I really do.
I do. I love him. He's good.
Yeah. I love that Sleeping Giant song.
Yes.
That song just gets you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the girls are tired of hearing it.
Well, I mean, no accounting for good taste, I guess, right?
That and there's a Crossroads Church that does what is the name of that song? I Raise a Hallelujah. And but there's only one version that I really, really like. And I do it almost every night before I go to bed. I play that. They're like, again? Yes, again.
Oh, yeah. So you say, oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Absolutely. And I have the close up of this painting, and this is magnificent. I'm probably not going to paint her exactly stroke for stroke. I'm just letting you know. But she'll look like that. That make good
Okay.
sense? Well, because
Let's
when
see.
you start blowing it up and really looking at the intricacy of um, the work, it's an entirely different. Here, I'll share my screen with you and give you a perspective of what I'm talking about. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, there you go. Now, this is the painting, right?
Right.
But when I want to show you, when I go in here to the painting and I go nosing around, this is done a lot like watercolor here in the background, the way the strokes are, the way the color is laid. You see what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yes.
whoops, hold on.
Mhm.
Ah, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So, likewise, when you go in here and you look at the painting strokes on her face and in her hair, I can make her look like this without. I have a problem. I have no problem imitating those things that I enjoy. I have a problem duplicating things and that are another person's work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'll paint her. She'll look really good, but she's not going to look exactly stroke for stroke like she does here. You
And
see what
that's
I'm
fine.
saying? Okay.
I don't expect it to be a carbon copy. No. It looks great.
But
I mean,
that's when I start painting stuff,
that's
I like to go in and I would love to see the intricate little details. Because if you're just looking at this as a picture, it looks almost like he's taken a picture of a woman standing there with the perfect lighting.
right.
So, but yeah, when you go in, you see like the watercolor details, which I think are just fantastic. I really do. Anyway, I guess I can stop sharing that now.
Mm.
I was just kind of excited. I was like excited that I found it, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna be painting on it again. I'll be able to whip this out in no time." And I got my oil paints.
Cool. I don't do people very well. And so that's,
I do people well enough as long as it doesn't have to look like any specific person.
yeah.
I can do likenesses, but I really don't. I don't enjoy painting people as much as I do like painting animals and things.
Yeah.
And they're very time consuming. But really, the time isn't the part that bothers me. It's just the trying to make it look like somebody else. And I don't know. Nobody. Well, people are happy with their portraits a lot of times when I do them, but um, I'm never happy with them. It's just not. It hasn't hit the mark for me, I guess. Is what I'm saying. Yay!
And, but that's what I always told my daughter. It doesn't have to be identical to anything that I would show her. Like when she was doing that painting of the Northern Lights. I mean, it took her a year because she just kept wiping it out and trying to start over. And so I just gave her a few tips. I did the moose for her. It had to have a moose. And but with the Northern Lights, that's where she was really having a problem. And then I showed her how she could take that fan brush and just bring it down and make it where it was like a shimmer instead of, because she had it real thick and kind of blocked. Like,
Yeah. Everybody's
they,
pets are. A friend of mine
I know,
Just text-
poor Anna Marie.
just texted me a little bit ago and said she lost the last of her kitty cats in her arms this morning, and it just broke my heart for her because Dash is really still recent, you know.
Yeah.
I sure do miss my puppy.
Yeah.
That's why I get so much joy out of watching Bo kiss Pappy all the day. I love that. It just makes me so happy.
I know.
I'm like, I don't even care if your
Yeah.
dog's talking in the background. He's talking to me. I always call him Sir Lick-a-Lot. I don't even call him Bo. I just call him Sir Lick-a-Lot. But I know his name. I thought
name. That's not his
What's
name.
that? Sir
That's
Lick-a-Lot.
not his name.
No.
Oh,
Well,
it is.
he's called him that in other videos. Like, if you go back and watch Pappy's videos, he talks about Kai and he calls Bo Sir Lick-a-Lot though. And I'm like, yep, that fits him. He's super kissy. He said he can't hold his liquor.
His name was.
What? What do you think his name was? Maybe I have it wrong.
I thought his name was Sir Lancelot because that's what I thought you were calling him.
I call him Sir Lick-a-Lot.
I just wasn't hearing right.
Puppy kisses are awesome. Oh, I'm sorry, Crystal. I'm sorry if you were having feedback. Was it maybe, it might be my Bluetooth speaker. I had that sitting up there. I'm sorry if that's the case. Back feed. Are you getting back feed from me too, Bonnie?
A little bit. It's like it's when I talk.
Is it better? Oh, is it better now though?
I mean, it's the same, but I can understand you.
I'm sorry, guys. Hey, Pappy felt his ears burning. That's what that was. So how is Gigi? I didn't get to jump in and say hi or anything last night, but I saw she was up, and I'm so glad to see that she was up with you guys.
Gigi, she's doing pretty good. I know, that was a shock. And we talked for a little bit after it was over, and she wanted to talk all night, and I was like, I am so sorry, but I got to go to the airport tomorrow, so I need to get to bed. But I think she'll be
right
back.
on.
She's
awesome. Oh, you got to take your brother today or something?
Yeah, he's going back to California. He should be taking off.
There she is. There's Gigi. It's good to see you, pretty lady.
That's the way it was
good
last
to see
night.
You too, Peppy and Vic. Yo, Vic.
We called her again.
Oh, that's funny. Well, and I was just talking about we were just talking about Pappy and Sir Lick-a-Lot too, and he just came in too. So thanks for joining us, everybody. I promise we weren't talking about you guys in a negative way whatsoever because we have so much love.
No, that's what we need to do. Just start mentioning so they pop up. We're calling our little, right? We're calling our community together. Name each one.
Yeah. Oh, I think my list is probably bigger than the amount of people that actually show up here, but that's okay.
Yeah. Always. That's I know my channel, it starts out pretty boring at first because I'm like, it's real hard for me to, it seems easy for you to just start talking and keep on a conversation, whether you have anybody up here or not. I'm not good at that at all. And
Bonnie, do you know how many times you've rescued me?
but that's because
You
you're here.
always. Yeah, but since the beginning, you've been one of my best rescuers. I promise.
Heavy and wrong.
I'm glad.
Yes, you know, and that's why I always try to jump in over there as quick as I can. I don't always get in as fast as I want to, but sometimes it takes us a while to get up on other platforms or to stay up. Geez, howdy. That's the other thing.
And that's
Yeah,
less.
Gigi says you do fine. Just pick a subject before you go live. That's the hard part.
Figure out what you want to talk about.
Mine's already set up for tonight. I already did it.
Awesome. We'll be there. I will not fall asleep tonight.
Awesome. And Saturday night is game night.
All right. What are we playing? Hey, what was the one you were talking about the other night? I really liked the idea of it. You were saying
That's what we're playing. If anybody asks a question, you answer it with words out of a song or name of a song or
that's
whatever.
Right. Okay. You have to answer it with songs. Nice. That's right, because Vic or Joe asked, one of them two asked, what are your measurements, right?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I think it was Joseph. Joseph is a character. He's a mess.
That's why it fits in.
Yes.
Yeah, you missed it. We had a night where we were all singing songs. We had like an entire night of just we started taking requests from the audience. It was it was fun. It was fun. It really was.
It wasn't the whole song.
It was.
Yeah, we didn't do the whole song. Just the one-line reminders.
But that's the way I wanted it. Like, and that's why I stuck to the campfire, because we keep talking about if only we could get around a campfire together. And I was like, well, we can. Stick a picture up there.
That's right.
So that's the way I wanted it. Like, we're all around a campfire and we're just talking about whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said for fireside chats. Seriously. That
Yes.
The best conversations are had around a fire, I think. Hi, Crystal again. Is the feedback better, honey?
I don't know. Hey.
Well, you sound fine. Good to have you up here with us.
I'm learning this computer.
Right on. You can practice with us.
Well, you're doing
Thank
pretty
you.
good. You got up here.
Pappy said we'll firewalk some night if you make the fire bigger.
You want a forest
Yeah,
fire? Because I saw that. A news article.
So now that we got a couple people in here, I want to ask this again. Anybody else feel like they're getting downloads of information last couple nights?
Calmness.
Feel like what?
like a download of information, or energy, I don't know. There's very much peacefulness at it. There's no overwhelming type of feeling or anything like that. And it takes a couple days, but then I find like new information starts popping up and coming to us in different ways. Or Jeff and I will be sitting here, and we'll all of a sudden we'll both want to check out the same thing. We'll want to go check out something, off of our radar normally, right? So
Yeah.
and then last night with all the sleeping I did, I know I had a bunch of downloads, because every time I would come to an almost waking state, I could feel it. I could feel that energy just coming in and these different waves. I don't know. It was really, really phenomenal feeling.
I don't know. I could just
Yeah, light
feel at
bulb
peace.
moment. Yeah, isn't that a wonderful feeling though? I mean, look at how far
Yes.
we've come, right? We used to be so scared of all this stuff going on right on the surface, right in our faces, and then it was like this gradual deepening of our whole community. Like, we've just gone beyond that surface confusion, and it's such a place of peace. I don't know, it's so great. I get goosebumpy talking about it.
Yeah.
Just like
Well,
when
and
they were
Pappy-
reading. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. You're fine. You go.
When Pappy and Robert and you, when everybody's talking, and that's another thing, is I really love it. That's why I liked Gigi being open after LW, because we had some place to go and unwind. And that's the way I wanted it. Just, okay, now it's time to just kick back and unwind, because you're getting so much information there. And okay, now
You have
let's
to process it. There has to be time to
process
process it.
and yeah, and then get rid of what we want to get rid of and keep what we want to keep. And so
I'm still here.
Pappy is our grounder. He's like he's the one that just when he explains things, it's so relieving. I guess is the word. I don't know.
It's Happy has a firm foothold in the spiritual. Pardon me. Oh, wrong pipe. Excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. Sorry. Wrong pipe
That's
with my
okay,
coffee.
hon.
Happy
That
has a firm
happens.
foothold in the world we live in and the
Yes.
world that we are creating. He's like this very sturdy bridge, right? And I think, like, we find that we all speak our own truth, and they all work together in these amazing ways. And he has so much knowledge that he is willing to pass on, to the people who want to learn. And it's it's practical and spiritual all at the same time,
Yes. And even though each one of us is different, it opens something to each person to get that grounding that they need. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I never come
Well-
away without something. It's just, I love the learning. of all of it. Him and Robert and you. I've been saying ever since you started. You're the walking encyclopedia.
I'm one of those people who all my life have been told that all I'm doing is learning useless facts, right? I'm just all the different things that I was learning, they've all been useless up until now. So they were never useless. They just had to wait for their time. So me
Right.
learning them
I
in
don't
my
feel
youth,
that.
just I lived for years thinking that it was all just useless information that nobody cared about but me. And but that's the folly of our youth, right? Hindsight is always going to be our greatest teacher in the aspect of, why did I ever learn all this stuff? Well, I had an interest in it for some reason, and now all of these things are coming where we've met each other, we've become family to each other, and the things that I share with you guys may have been useless to everybody in my immediate surroundings, but you guys find use in them. And really, is there anything more to wish for, right? Than that you may impart some piece of knowledge to somebody else that would help them. I mean, what a remarkable
And
thing,
that's just
right?
you never stop learning. I don't care how old you get. You're gonna keep learning something, even if it's from the younger generations. I mean, look at all the stuff they're into that we think is just crazy. So now you know how your parents felt, or your grandparents, or whoever. Yes, I saw Pappy's comment about.
We're all a bunch of airheads. Good thing we've got a keeper of balloons then. Happy Two Bears, keeper of balloons, walks with eagle's feathers.
There you go.
I love you, Peppy.
I'm not gonna let any of us fly away.
And that's it is. You find the if you think back in your life, there's always been that one cousin or aunt or uncle or friend of your mom or dad's that acted as a grounder for you even when you were a kid. And usually they're outside of your immediate family. Huh?
That was my grandmother. She would stay over there. Just so it doesn't hit me again. My grandmother was she pretty much raised us, and she was constantly learning. She was reading all the time, and a lot like you. And I learned so much from her, and even just her mannerism, just watching her and everything. And it amazes me. Laura only knew her for maybe 2008. She passed in 2008, and Laura was born in 95. So whatever that is. And but she is so much like her. Do what?
I said about 9-ish years.
Yeah. And I know my grandmother couldn't wait to see her either. I think she saw it also. And she was the first babysitter when Laura was 4 days old. My best friend was having a hysterectomy and wanted me at the hospital with her. And so I let my grandmother watch my little tiny baby girl. But
she knew what to do.
Yes.
Isn't that something? My oldest son, I remember thinking, I was in labor with him for 23 and a half hours. And I remember I thought her birthday was January 30th. My grandma's birthday. I thought her birthday was January 30th. And I cried. I called her the next morning after I had him. And I cried and I was like, "Oh, Grandma, I'm so sorry. I wanted to have him on your birthday, blah, blah, blah." And I was all emotional and stuff, you know. And she said, "Honey, you did have him on my birthday." So my oldest son was born on my Grandma Hendrick's birthday.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
He was about
the way
a
it
year
was
old when
with.
she passed. So he didn't get to
Wow.
know her too much, but she was a lovely woman, very strong. She fought bone marrow cancer for 4 years. She didn't do chemo. Right at the end, they wanted to do chemo with her, and she said no, but her pain in her last week was really bad. And
Yeah.
the last time I got to see her, she thought I was my mom and that Colton was my oldest brother. She was having lapses in memory and everything at that point. But
Yeah.
I'd never seen her have a weekday in my entire life until that day, you know. And she left us the next day. So, but
And
boy,
it's
she was
hard to
just one
see
of those.
someone that's strong
Yeah. My dad didn't
get
want me to
weak.
see her because he didn't want me to remember her that way. And I thought, you kidding me? She's the strongest woman I know. I'm never going to remember her as being weak and frail.
Yeah.
That's not my memories of her. She was so strong.
Yeah. When my grandmother was 75, we had to make her quit climbing on her roof to cut her tree limbs. And she just fought tooth and nail, but she did. She quit climbing on the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Robert's medicine cards. There's good medicine in those
Yep.
cards. And I love when he pulls them for us as a group and he just gets an energy feel for our whole group. And there's always points that hit each and every one of us, you know, that are just remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking
Oh
about
my
the
goodness.
totem pole. What?
Happy just pulled a card.
Oh.
I would be very interested to see what interpretations there are for said card. Go ahead, hon. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, that's all right. Oh, when y'all were talking about totem poles, so I asked Tatum, I said, is there, I don't even know how you figure out what your, whatever's what. And I just asked her, is there an animal that keeps popping at you or like stands out? And she said the wolf. I have always loved wolves. And I was like, okay, that's cool. A wolf is awesome. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, I have no clue. And she said, you love horses and deer. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know if that's what it is. If it's an animal you love or one that seems to appear on you all the time. If it's one that, because that hummingbird hit me in the face that day, that just doesn't happen. And
Well,
I always
that
have
probably
butterflies.
was a sign. That was probably a sign. I mean,
Maybe. I don't know.
sometimes we need Creator to smack us in the head and knock us down, right? To get to actually see what message they're giving. I'm not kidding you. I know that about myself. I used to ask for signs and I used to ask for this and that, and then I couldn't see them. And I was like, okay, just let me have the eyes to see them. Then I still wasn't seeing it. Then it was bugs would crawl up on my hands, or I had a butterfly land, I had a butterfly land on my nose. I had a dragonfly land in my hair, and I was walking around for 20 minutes with a dragonfly on my head and didn't know this dragonfly was on my head. And so it takes sometimes that physical, right, in order for us to go, oh, now I get it.
Right. Oh, well, and then I wonder too, because butterflies are always landing on me, and my grandmother loved butterflies. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just her giving me some reassurance, or
How does it feel
I
to
don't
you?
know.
It probably is a bit of
I
that.
love it. I sit there and
Yeah.
talk to them.
They may indeed be one of your spirit animals, butterfly. Butterfly is very interesting. There are a lot of things about butterflies, the beauty of the butterfly, that people don't understand. Uh, First, all the hard work it took them to turn into butterflies. You think about that. And then,
Yeah.
and that's the part most people focus on. But as a butterfly, they migrate. They have a good internal sense of direction. And believe it or not, butterflies will go to urine as fast as they will to flowers. And I don't mean that in a bad way. A lot of people don't realize, but they clean up certain things in nature, just like all these other bugs and things. But something of so much beauty, right, that works so hard to attain its beauty and doesn't stop working after it's beautiful. It, they're That's probably not even anywhere near close to whatever the medicine cards say about it. But because I think butterflies are mainly like that symbol of transformation, a lot of people. But you think about what it takes to be a butterfly after you finally get to that stage, there's still some hard work involved there. Those wings that carry them across countries. Think about the monarchs and how they and how the mass migrations and things like that. It's just amazing. They're amazing. And Pappy, I would be a grasshopper, but I'm better at crickets sometimes. But it can be you could have a dream about an animal. It doesn't have to be an animal that you like. It doesn't have to, I mean, and not to say that you're not connected with certain animals for whatever reasons, right? But I actually did a meditation with the intent of finding out what would my spirit animal be. That's how I came up with the first one. It came to me. I didn't choose it. It chose me. So, and I was told not to put any expectations on it, thinking I'm going to get some like, lion or wolf, or like, if we go into it with an expectation and your energy animal ends up being a beetle, don't be upset. They have their own medicine. You know what I mean? So I was warned of that before I went into that meditation, and the hawk is what visited me. And then Spider has come in and out of my life many, many times. But when I was 14 years old, I tattooed a spider on my finger, not for any specific reason at that point that I can remember. But Spider is always coming in and out. And every time I've planned 1,000,001 tattoos for myself, and they all have a spider on them. And I don't know why, because I don't especially care for spiders, but they're there. Do you read what Robert said? Hi, Pappy.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
I forgot what I came up here for.
You pulled an interesting card looking at the title of the video.
Oh,
I also
okay.
have elephant memory.
I was having a
I'm
senior
picking.
moment. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera on for a minute, and hopefully you can see this. Real interesting. Now look at your title. Hi.
Hi, Peppy.
Oh, the Kopi. What is it? Kopi
Kokopelli.
Kokopelli. Is that like a Kachina? No. Kokopelli. What is that?
Oh, let's find out about Kokopelli. Really interesting little character. And in view of what you started out talking about today, it's kind of appropriate. Okay, because the key sign for Kokopelli is fertility. Oh, which means what? Being
Fertile,
ripe,
being fertile, being
ripe to
growth.
produce something. I wonder if that has anything to do with downloading. Ooh. Let's take a look and see what the book says about Kokopelli. These are from the Sacred Path cards, by the way. Kokopelli, play for me, so my heart may sing. Magic flute of mystery, fruitful dreams you bring. Song of Achlan, fertile fire, canyons of my mind. Sacred union, heart to heart, speaks of the divine. Kokopelli was a proud Toltec who came to the Achlan people from deep in the heart of Mexico. Achlan was the origin point of the mighty Aztec nation before they built their capital in the middle of a lake on an island now known as Mexico City. Now, Achlan's uppermost border was in southern Colorado and covered all of the Rio Grande Valley in New Mexico. The inhabitants of Achlan were the peaceful Pueblo nations. These Pueblos were farmers and cliff dwellers who depended upon the thunder beings and the whirling rainbow to feed the three sisters, the corn, the squash, and the beans, so the people could live. The name of Kokopelli carries with it many myths and legends. All stories agree on one thing. He played the Indian flute. His music was said to bring fertility to the land and to the people. His trade routes from southern Mexico to the southern regions of Colorado are marked with petroglyphs of a humpback flute player. His life was colorfully told around many a council fire, and his praises sung in many a kiva. The Kachina dolls that represent Kokopelli show his body with an enormous erection, marking his maleness and fertility. It is said that his seed was sacred and that his line bore children with special talents. Any woman chosen by Kokopelli as a consort was honored among her people, for she would bear a child from the race of gods. Now, he goes on to talk about his medicine teacher. Joaquin, my medicine teacher in Mexico, was part Aztec and had many tales of the Toltec, Kokopelli, and what the Toltecs thought of Kokopelli. Joaquin sat and played a Mayan black clay flute as he wove the stories he knew so well into the music. I could feel and hear the ancestors come to listen to the tales of their old friend Kokopelli as we sat around a fire high in the mountains above San Miguel de Allende one autumn evening. The music was soft and soulful as it echoed down the canyon wall. I envisioned the walls of Mesa Verde full of high cliff dwellings, fires brightly burning, and all the people sitting in wonder as Kokopelli wove the magical flute music into the potion that fed the hearts of the young and the old alike. Joaquin's flute took me through time and space, and suddenly I was a raven, sitting high above the city, watching all the people, observing the master magician, Kokopelli. Joaquin's words slipped away, and I saw his story unfold before my eyes. Kokopelli did not have a hunchback, for his hump was sitting at his side and must have been the bundle of sacred objects and medicine he had brought to trade. His flute seemed to glow in the firelight, and he used the reflected light as well as the sound to mesmerize the observers. It had been a very dry year, and the trust that rain was coming had worn thin. The feathers in Kokopelli's headdress were bright red macaw feathers, which gave the illusion of his being bathed in the eternal flames of passion and creativity. The fire of fertility that crowned his head also radiated from his body as he swayed in front of the communal fire. When he finished with his flute, he wrapped it like a child in a brightly woven material and offered it to the great star nations. His words carried to the farthest reaches of the Pueblo. This flute carries the music of the stars to the great Earth Mother and calls for the thunder beings to make love to her. This union will bring a child to the people who will one day lead them back to the stars, to the inner earth from which they came. A cool rush of high mountain air blew past my raven body and up the canyon to stir the embers of the communal fire into a whirlwind that exploded, filling the night sky with star-like sparks. The gasp of wonder from the mouths of the people echoed through the moonless night. Suddenly, the light that the fire beings cast gave enough light for everyone to see the masses of cloud people who had gathered in the heavens to answer Kokopelli's call. Once again, the people cried out in awe at the magic of this half-god, half-man Kokopelli. Even the sleeping babies awakened to the spectacle of Kokopelli's magic. Surely the long-awaited rain would feed the three sisters, and the people would live. Kokopelli called out for everyone to gather up their clay pots so that the moisture could be collected for future use. The thunderers called out that rain was about to begin. The fire sticks gave quite a light show before rolling thunder broke the silent night. The only other sound was the scurrying feet in yucca fiber sandals running up and down the ladders to grab the pots. One maiden stood entranced near the main plaza, marveling at the lightning in the night sky, while others around her became frenzied, running to and fro. Kokopelli looked at her beautiful, innocent face filled with wonder and approached her, still holding his flute like a child. She was filled with a sereneness that had piqued his curiosity. He asked, "Why have you not gathered your pots?" "They are in place high on the mesa," she answered. When he asked the maiden her name, she replied, "I am called Ice Flower of the winter clan of White Corn." Kokopelli asked, "Why are your pots already in place, Ice Flower?" "Because your flute called to me when you came up the canyon and told me you would bring the rain," she answered. Kokopelli was intrigued. He smiled in a knowing way as the maiden returned his smile. "So," he said, "you are the one." The people assembled for the medicine chief of the Eagle Clan's prayer of gratitude just as the first rain people began to touch the Earth Mother's breast. Kokopelli took Ice Flower by the hand and led her to the fire. All eyes were watching the couple as they made their way to the head of the plaza. When the prayer was over, Kokopelli placed the flute, wrapped like a child in Ice Flower's arms, as a symbol that this woman would share his music and his seed. I flew over the couple and heard the gasp of all who were observing the drama. Magic was in the air, and the child of this union would use the magic of this raven medicine to assist the people in finding their way back to the stars. The legend of the Pueblo people tell that they crawled up from the underworld after creation. Meanwhile, the spirits of their ancestors went back into the underworld until it was time to walk the earth again. Kokopelli spoke to them of a time when each person was a spark of the fire from great mystery's eternal flame, and had fallen to earth to seed the mother with fertile thoughts, ideas, and actions. He told them that they would all become like fireflies in the great sky nation on the day when the Toltec and the Pueblo bloodlines came together as one. The Aztecs say that Iceflower brought a man-child who became a great spiritual leader of the Eagle clan into the world 9 months later. His medicine was the gentleness of his mother and the fire of his father. Since Mesa Verde was abandoned hundreds of years ago, we are left with this question. Did they leave the earth and go live in the great star nation? If so, the fertility and abundance of Kokopelli shines on our world each night. Now, to fully understand the teachings of Kokopelli, we must examine the idea of divine union. When we approach our lives with trust rather than skepticism, we are allowing our minds to be the fertile ground for enriching. This growth cycle allows each of us to hear the music of our own unique magic. Every living creature on earth is magical because each is a unique creation who sprang from the great mystery. This magic is our personal medicine, which manifests itself as our gifts, our talents, and our abilities. Fertility in life can be called to us through our active seeking when we use the magic inside of ourselves rather than allowing it to gather dust. Kokopelli plays the flute and weaves the magic of his songs to remind us that magic is no more than a change in consciousness. If we want the seed we sow to fall on fertile ground, then we must change our perception and use our talents in a fertile manner. So how do you apply the teachings of Kokopelli? If Kokopelli has lured you with his magical flute, it is time to listen to his song. This song is one of fertility. You are being asked to use your talents to create fertility in some area of your life. If things have been slow moving, Kokopelli's song is saying that whatever you intend to plant at this time will be very productive for you. Planting seeds for the future takes effort on your part. So now is the time to use your skill and resources to make use of the magic. If you have a project to begin or an idea to develop, the timing couldn't be better. Shift away from any old limiting ideas. Move forward. The time is now. The power is you. The download is occurring. This applies to more than one person here, you know.
A little bit.
Matter of fact, I think it applies to the group. And by extension, to what's going on in the world right now, too. If the seeds are planted, there's going to be a good crop. But that means that people got to get out and plant the seeds in all aspects. Politics, interpersonal relationships, our own spiritual development. So go out there and toot your flute.
Thank you so much for reading that. It was good. Heather, do you know you're muted?
No, I didn't realize I was muted.
I didn't think so.
I was waiting for you to step on your chin. You were sitting there with your mouth open.
Well, I was talking too, but you didn't hear that either. So that, yeah, wow, very appropriate. Boy, the timing on these things, you just can't make it up.
Such a coinky dink, isn't it?
I don't think there's any such thing.
Hi to everyone that dropped into chat that I haven't said hi to. I see Travis in there, and was that
Dorinda.
Pig Eager?
And yeah,
And she is a wonderful lady.
I got my bifocals. I'm twice as blind today. There's Robert.
yep.
Good morning.
Hey, Travis. Hey,
Ah,
Peg.
Hana wash day.
Yeah, it's
I wish I
afternoon.
spoke that.
So it's a good word, Robert.
Well, you just had a good word. And I don't know. I don't know, sir. You always spark something in me. If you look at chat, LLAS, her insect is the butterfly. It seems that Bonnie's is too. So I'd like to read out of this book.
Oh yeah, butterfly is actually a very powerful symbol.
Exactly.
Wow.
The
Go
power that butterfly brings to us is akin to the air. It is the mind and the ability to know the mind or to change it. It is the art of transformation. To use butterfly medicine, you must astutely observe your position in the cycle of self-transformation. Like butterfly, you are always a certain station in your life activity. You may be at the egg stage, which is the beginning of all things. This is the stage at which an idea is born, but not yet become a reality. The larva stage is the point at which you decide to create the idea in the physical world. The cocoon stage involves going within, doing or developing your project, idea, or aspects of personality. The final stage of transformation is leaving the chrysalis and birth. This last step involves sharing the colors and joy of your creation with the world. If you look closely at what butterfly is trying to teach you, you will realize that it's a never-ending cycle of self-transformation. The way to discern where you are in this cycle is to ask yourself, is this the egg stage? Is it just a thought or idea? Do I need to make a decision? Is this the larvae stage? Is this the cocoon stage? Am I developing and doing something to make my idea a reality? Is this the birth stage? Am I sharing my completed idea? By asking yourself these questions, you will discover how butterfly is relating to you at this moment. When you understand where you are, the symbol can teach you what to do next to continue in the cycle of self-transformation. If you have found the position through which you are cycling, you will see the creativity of butterfly. Using the air or mental powers of this medicine is done with ease. As an example, if you have been feeling exhausted and have asked how to heal your fatigue, take notice of the colors that you have been drawn to recently. Does your body feel better in green? Does this mean that you need to eat more green vegetables? This type of thinking is an inspiration from butterfly medicine. Butterfly can give clarity to your mental process, help you organize the project you are undertaking, and assist you in finding the next step for your personal life or career. The main message to be obtained from drawing this symbol is that you are ready to undergo some type of transformation. To discern what your next move is, to use the butterfly medicine. Is to use the butterfly spread. But in this case, we don't need the spread because Bonnie knows. Each one of us knows what we need to do. Each one of us knows what transformation we need to make. That's very, very cool.
Wow.
You need to figure out where you are, Bonnie. All of us do.
Yeah.
Figure out where we are, what stage we're in, and grow. Right, Pat? I like that.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Well, it's not only transformation that takes place; it's actually a metamorphosis, and is a total structural change. You know, you stop and think. You know, the butterfly in its caterpillar stage eats the green leaves of the plant, but yet the butterfly in the adult stage eats what? The sweet nectar of the flowers. Okay, one goes from the earth and the other flies. Okay, metamorph. They're both still the same animal. They're both still the same living being. Okay, but they've been able to transcend one from the other and produce the cycle again in their offspring. Light as a butterfly, as beautiful as a flute song, bright, cheerful. That's the energy that we want. That's the energy that brings us the highest frequency in our lives. Laughter is just so much more enjoyable than the tears of anguish. And there's a big distinct difference between the energy frequencies of the two. Okay,
And
so
sharing those energies is just as important, I think.
oh yeah, you're not supposed to keep them.
Eh,
You know, we're not given gifts to keep them. We're given gifts to pass them along to somebody else. You know, we're only the people that hold for a little while until somebody comes along that is supposed to have it. We use it for a while, we get our enjoyment, and then we pass it along to them. They use it for a while, get their enjoyment, or perhaps their metamorphosis, or their transformation, or the ability to learn new notes on their own flute. You know, we pass it along, and then at the end of the time, it's like the old game of saying something in somebody's ear, and then they turn around and say it in somebody else's ear, and then they turn around, and at the end, the message has been passed along, but it's been allowed to transform and metamorph into what it ends up as. Sometimes it can be hilarious, but sometimes it can be amazing too.
Wow. You know, and all these creative energies, that's the same thing we were hearing yesterday when you guys were reading those for me. Thank you again, by the way. But a creative, it's common theme for that I am seeing is that creative energy, that creativity, that now's the time, get it out type of feeling.
Well, I think the important thing to quiet you. He's agreeing. The important thing here is that you said creative energy. The important thing here to remember is that the creative energy has come to us already. That's why we're here. What we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be co-creators.
Bella,
We're supposed to be co-creators with that energy.
sorry.
Go eat the kitty food.
But he's got a lot to say this morning.
Yes, he does. He knew we were talking about him too earlier.
I'm going to let him talk to my foot in a second here.
Wow. It's remarkable how many shared energies we all have. You know, if you think about it, when you and Pappy pulled cards, there he is. See, he was trying to give me kisses. He just wanted to be seen and heard.
That's Bo.
Don't do it. She was answering Pappy's dog.
So is Ed's.
My little Bella.
She
She
wants to be
doesn't.
heard now too.
Yeah, she doesn't like other dogs, and
Hold her up, Bonnie. Let's see her.
oh, she's a matted mess right now.
Oh,
She got out of the backyard. She's not supposed to be up here, and she knows it. And so she went rolling in the sticker burrs. So she's covered. Yeah,
so
shaved. She's she's part Maltipoo and part Pickapoo. So I don't know what you call
Well, she's obviously more lovable than a sack of poo. So
her. Yeah, she's a poo, all right.
Hello, Marco.
I'm gonna need to jump down, but I really appreciate that.
well, thanks for coming up. I appreciate you, and I love you, hon. And
Love
I hope
y'all.
you have a great day.
I hope I see y'all this evening.
Yes, I promise not to fall asleep too soon tonight.
Okay. And
Love
y'all
you,
live.
Bonnie.
This is it. This is what we're out here for.
That's right.
Right. You're
Love
right.
y'all.
Love you, girl.
Love you too, hon.
Bye-bye.
She's so great. I love her.
Yeah, we got it. It's a great group. Yeah, great.
You know what's interesting?
I really enjoy our group because there's such a sharing. There's such a like a communal sharing, and it's so amazing. You
You know what I had a thought of, Heather, when you mentioned the group? Because the thought was running through my head. Our group is like looking at a spice rack full of different spices.
Yeah,
Really, honest to God,
yeah.
you know, every one of them is a spice of life in their own way. You know, some lead the savoriness, some lead the sweetness. You know, some add a little bit of the bitterness. You know, some of them probably smell like old onions. You know, I'm an onion and garlic lover myself.
Me too. Me too. Love the Brassica family. Yeah,
We all
I
get
don't think
together,
you
we
guys
can make quite a soup. Ooh, put that on the big screen.
put it on the big screen. Okay. You're asking me to do technical stuff again. All right, so I don't know. We started reading that stuff. This painting has already changed about 5 different times.
You know, the face reminds me of the card that I pulled last night. The blank shield card.
I missed it.
You need to go.
Remember, I was sleeping.
Yeah, I pulled a card out from the medicine card deck, but it's a card that's made to, you can write your own stuff on it if you want to, but I never did, because to me it symbolizes the fact that the face of the shield has nothing on it, but yet from nothing everything came from Creator. You know, so I call it the no face shield, where everything is and nothing can be seen.
Endless possibility.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to go through my deck and straighten it out and make sure that card's in there. I love that
You might
card.
have pulled it out and said, "Uh-oh, misprint. They didn't put anything on this one."
Yep.
My deck doesn't have anything like that. Of course, I don't have a deck close to what you guys have, but next time I get to invest money in a book or a deck, because that's, you know, its own little separate fund, because Heather likes books. So, but I think I'm gonna use it and wisely invest in a deck of medicine cards.
Well,
'Cause
the fat man,
they really
the fat man comes down the chimney pretty soon. We'll see what he brings.
Wait a minute. He can't come down the chimney. He got stuck in the smoke hole of the teepee last year.
Well, I heard he got put in jail for running over somebody's grandma.
As soon as I said that, I remember what Pappy said last night. That's funny.
Yeah, they say there's a deer skin out there that's got a red nose on it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Reindeer
Oh, my
pemmican.
I've actually had reindeer pemmican. It's really good. And well, I've had bison and all that made into pemmican, and it's phenomenal. Really dry, but
Yeah, well, usually less
if you
fat.
use it, yeah, if you use it though to cook with, it's tasty.
Yeah, make a soup.
It warms your body up. It like literally physically increases your body temperature in a good way. You know?
I think I got 2 pounds of it stashed in my bug out bag.
There you go.
Yeah, your bug out bag's probably got 9 or 10 pack rats in there that's finished up about half of it.
They better
Why-
not.
And not I'm not being funny, but man, I can't imagine you going anywhere. You seem very rooted where you are.
Who?
You.
Me? Shit. I'll drop down in this thing right here. And it'll be Wolverines full blast. If I gotta sacrifice myself for my grandchildren and my great grandchildren, Creator has the way. He'll
Yeah.
guide me.
Man, I really want to play. I really want to. I think I need to. What's his name again? Copapelli? I got to do some research on it.
Coco Pelli, yeah.
Copapelli.
And have fun doing some research. A lot of stories out there and stuff. Sometimes called the trickster.
Yeah.
You know, trick
Is
you
he
with his
known?
little- you know,
Is he
isn't it funny how
sometimes?
the Native Americans had the tale of Kokopelli, and the Europeans had the tale of the Pied Piper,
Yeah. Right.
and about the one that supposedly led all the snakes out of Ireland.
Yeah.
Did
Right.
Well-
he charm them out also with song?
Yep.
Yes, charmed them,
Charm them out of
which is actually, I think, a euphemism for something else. But
spiritual
Yeah, no.
living. Just another division, you know.
yeah, but you're right. I think a lot of different mythos around the world. Greek mythology, Apollo was the god of music and the god of the sun, which is a little bit of a conglomeration of Helios and other things, but
I think there's a lot of
mythology is all over the
commonality.
world.
In our ancient memory, I think there's a lot of commonality.
Right.
Yes,
And expressed in a lot of different ways throughout the ages as people moved around and circumstances changes, but the commonality is still there. And I'm glad that it is,
yes,
because there is a commonality in all people, and whether they see it or not, I see it.
yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
Pappy, I got a question. So
I'm listening.
how does it come to pass that you seem to be my trigger? You know what I mean?
I seem to be your trigger.
Yeah. You when you speak or when you send a message or a lesson or whatever, it makes me awaken more inside.
Well, it probably opens up, another little cabinet drawer that you pulled out, and there's a little nugget in there for you. Um, that's like one of the things that I use.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the things that I use as a teaching. Sometimes you're the pinball, and sometimes you're the flapper that's slapping the pinball.
Yeah. That's such that's the word. What? Say it again. Say it again, Heather.
Activator.
Yeah, Pappy's my activator.
Well, as long as I don't activate a cute flatulence, you're in pretty good shape then.
No chili for you tonight.
Unreal.
Hi, Raina.
Hi, Pappy.
Hi, Raina.
Banana, fana, fofana, fee, fi, momena, Raina.
Because it's fun.
Mom, why did you teach him that?
I didn't teach him. I didn't do it.
Then who did?
Well, lots of people know that song, big girl. It's called
Don't
the
let
Mean-
me teach you, Raina. Your mama will be feeding you soap.
I couldn't stand the taste of soap. Still to this day, I can't stand the taste of soap.
I
In
know.
my life, I thought I was a connoisseur of different soaps.
Yeah, we stopped getting the soap treatment when I had an allergic reaction to a perfume in one of them.
Yeah. I think probably the
Yeah.
nastiest I've ever had is Irish Spring.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but you remember what else I ask of you?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, you have choices, and those choices have consequences for good or ill.
You see North Carolina girl's question down there, Heather?
Um. Hmm. I believe the Saints are somewhat of a carryover from other stories of other times. I don't believe it makes them any less saintly. I just think they've been called different things in different times and places.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think that whatever you give power to has power in your life. Does that make sense?
like St. Patrick's Day. Is he really a saint for what he did?
Well,
You know?
exactly. I think there were saintly beings, and I want you to look into this just for your own information, but I'm finding a lot of historical data that points to the original saints actually having been of the giant race and trying to show kindness to humanity.
Yeah, look up St.
So-
Christopher, right?
Yeah,
Saint
there's a lot of
Right.
information on him. Yeah.
Right.
But anything that you give power to in your life for good or for ill is going to have power in your life. So I would factor that in, right? Because I'm a firm believer of that. That's so for me, I tend to look at things a little bit differently that way. And
No.
I can pray to angels and know that it will be heard. Same way some people pray to saints, and you know it's going to be heard because you've given that entity, that power in your life. You have instilled in it a belief, and so we are co-creators with the divine, the source, the cosmic oneness, whatever you'd like to call him. And because we are co-creators, I think that is how we design our reality. And I do believe we have the power to design our reality. Thank you for the update, Anna. I am so happy Sage is out of surgery, and I will keep continuing to send prayers her way, honey.
Wow.
So what do you guys think about that? What
Yeah,
are
it's
your
so good to hear, Anna. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Heather.
you're fine.
On my response to North Carolina girls' question is, I'm going to go back to the whole thing of when someone is beatified or beatified or whatever they call it by the Pope and the cardinals and that stuff, and granted sainthood. It's generally based upon the parameters that have been set for that to happen. They had to do miracles, or it was, in other words, it was their deeds and their faith, and it was and they never achieved sainthood while they were alive, it seemed, and in looking at other cultures and some of their spiritual helpers that they also called upon, many of them were put into the same categories. And what made them continue to have power is that the people utilized them as another avenue for their prayers to go through for assistance based upon what they had done in their lives, or their new status, or whatever it was. And that very much goes right back to my feeling, my knowing that where you send your thoughts, your intent, your emotion, and your energy is where you're sending power to. And that reminds me of a story, a nice little story. How many people have ever seen the story called The Never Ending Story?
Yep.
Okay. It's a children's movie.
Yep. Guilty.
And the whole thing that was based on was the fact that this land was dying. Why? Because the people forgot them. They were no longer be able to live because they no longer had the people's thoughts. They no longer had the people sending good wishes to them, So all these little characters in this world were worried that their world was dying because they were not sending energy to it. Now, in that concept of looking at that, we are in fact co-creators. Okay, because we're sending energy out, and it's allowed to come back through that particular avenue. Okay, so do I believe in saints? Yes. Call them another name, I believe in that too. I know that there's, in some cultures, they have what are called the ascended masters, the adepts that have gone through their lives and ascended and transcended and transformed or metamorphosed, whatever you want to, whatever, and called it. They're called ascended masters.
Yep.
They're called, the great healers. They're called spiritual helpers. They go by a lot of different handles. Okay, Robert, I'm turning my mic off. Your turn.
Well, it's like you said, sir. As you, so what Heather said, what you said, and what I feel is exactly the same. Wherever you send your thoughts and your energy to, it manifests it, and then people will see that I kind of tend to avoid certain things. That's because I don't want to give it power. I don't want to give it acknowledgement. I don't want to give it recognition at all, because it's just negativity. And we know what that does to you.
Absolutely. If you don't feed it, it won't grow, right?
Right. If you don't go to the circus, it won't come to town.
Yep.
Only when you attend will it come. That's what's hard. That's a hard teach people. That's a hard lesson right there.
Good to see you, Hen. Haven't seen you in a couple days. I hope everything is well with you, hun. And hi, Shep.
That's great.
Hi,
That's,
Norma. Hi, Shep.
hi, Shep. Hi, North Carolina girl. That's great news, Anna.
I would like to expand just a little bit on what you said, Robert, because there's one thing that you said that I cannot be in complete agreement with, and that's some of the dark energies. Okay, I do agree that if you dwell on it or if you send your energy to it, it grows stronger. Okay, but even the people that are always in the high energy does not mean that you're not going to encounter the other energy.
Right. Yep.
Okay, and you need to be aware. It is a fact. It's there. Okay, like the two wolves. Yeah, how does it affect your personal life? Which one are you feeding? The one you feed is the one that stays strong. But you got to understand, stuff that is starving can get desperate sometimes. Okay, so you need to be aware of that too. All right, but yeah, your whole concept there, Robert, is head on, except for that little caveat that I'll put on there. Just to be aware.
Okay. That's what you've helped me with that. That's why I'm gonna cleanse my crystals, cleanse my house, and probably cleanse myself. Just to be neutral and to offer up good things to come.
Would either of you two enjoy addressing this question? I think this is a very good question. I don't think anybody here assumes anything. We're usually either speaking from a place of experience, which isn't always knowledge, but it is experience, or we're just sharing our personal viewpoints on things. But either one of you guys want to take a stab at this?
Well, yeah, you're good at shifting. You shifting
Yeah, you
gears
are.
there, girl. Go ahead, Robert.
I'm flowing today, Poppy. I'm flowing today.
You're flowing, yeah. You're being the pinball flapper. You're knocking the pinball to one of us.
Worshiping. Well, it depends on where you focus your prayer to. If you focus your prayer to worshiping that God or your God or whoever you want to focus that on, it's your intent. If you're praying with the intent of a worship, then that's what it shall be. If you're just praying to pray, then that's not really worshiping, I don't believe. You have to set the intent first, right, Pappy? If your intent of praying is to worship, then yes, that's what it is. Because we're all different. My praying meditation as worship is different than the guy down the street or the Christian or the Buddhist or all them religions. It's everybody's different. You have to find your path, not everyone else's path, your path, because it leads to the same destination.
I think we're talking about difference in methodologies. Okay.
Right.
Because both are very powerful if the intent is true. Of the two, all right, which one do I think is more powerful? I would have to say praying is more powerful. Okay, because that's gonna be sent, directly along the pathway that you have. Okay, worshiping on the other hand is in my way of thinking about it. People can worship something falsely. For example, worshiping somebody that is a great influencer. Okay, and what they say, and it becomes basically gospel to them, or they could be led astray to believe that that is the only way for them to be able to exercise their praying. Okay, in that case, it becomes limiting. Okay, but if you combine the two, praying to that which you worship, in other words, to the source that you believe in, and that you believe that you gain your power from, then they can actually be two words of the same intent. Intent is everything. Intent is everything. Worshiping usually indicates that it's something that you see, or that you feel, or that you have images of, or that you've been given talismans of, or medals, or whatever. You're seeing this. Where praying is not that. Praying is thoughts that are sent with intent. Okay, and there's the difference for me. Okay, like the song signs everywhere are signs. And you're going to have a lot of those, do this, don't do that, and stay between the lines. And praying kind of transcends that. It doesn't have those lines there. Those lines don't exist on the map anymore. When you're standing on the earth, you don't see those lines. All right, so that's the difference that I have. But I'll tell you what, that's a question that should make a lot of people think. Okay, and that was a good question, by the way, North Carolina girl. Thank you for putting that up there for us.
Yeah, that was a great question.
And both of these guys have just said everything that I would have said. No, I'm just kidding. I believe that it is approaching similar things in different manners. I do believe it is more about the process and intent, and intent is everything. I don't know that I'm going to actually add anything to the conversation, because Robert and Pappy pretty much covered that. But it's about, I will say this, I will add this. It is about your interpretation, and therefore it is also about their interpretation of what those words actually mean. So
Right.
once you can define what they mean for you, you will have a difference. A lot of
Now,
people don't understand there's a
yeah.
difference.
Go ahead, Heather. I want you to finish what you're just saying, because there's something important that I want to attach to that.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, there is a gigantic difference between religion and spirituality, although they have been intertwined and sometimes used very positively, and sometimes used very negatively. So it's not about perhaps the prescribed use for something as much as it is about, it's not about the prescribed use for something as much as it is about your personal use and intent with something.
Yep. Now that's actually right on the trail right there. And what I would like to point out, because I always mention the cautions and the caveats, there's a real good lesson in that for people that have read the Bible. Okay, when Satan took Jesus up on the mountain and said, everything that you see around you will be yours if you drop down and worship me. Okay. Now, Jesus, in his own way, he knew that he was praying to the one true source, but yet he was being asked to worship that which was not the truth source. In other words, to exchange the truth source for something which wasn't. And that's where discernment has to come into play.
I heard aho. I heard him say it.
Yeah, that is an eye hole. He's saying hello.
That's good stuff.
I have to let the other kitty cat in now. Give me a moment. She's jumping on the door. All right, Bubba. Now be easy with me. He just holding on to my hand for dear life. That's my baby boy right there. All right, give me a second here. Oh, good girl. You brought it home alive. All right, well, finish it off before you bring it in. Don't bring it in. Don't do that. Go on, hurry up. There's stuff on the porch. Yay. We've got it.
Dorinda.
We're gonna have grass rats for Thanksgiving dinner, I swear.
There are so many of them.
No, he's not a Maine Coon. He's just a scruffy little bugger I found on the side of the road and brought home with me. And I love him. And he loves me. He's our baby, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not that big.
He's just the size of a normal cat.
So what you up to? You gonna talk about stuff with us for a little bit? We had a really good question. I think Bridget asked it. Which, I really... Oh, Pappy's back.
Hi, Pappy.
He must have kicked Bo out of the house.
She knows how to get me to smile.
She's my little bright light, for sure.
Yeah. You take what you brought up as a subject matter today and what we've discussed a little bit today, and I've been following what people are saying in the chat as well, and about their sensitivity to the changes that have taken place energetically. Okay, and they all perceive it in their own ways, and some are, we all experience it, in our own unique ways. Some of us are having physical manifestations. Others are having emotional manifestations. Some of us are having, lucid dreams and things of this nature. This is the time that energy has changed. Okay, and I think as time goes by, perhaps we're going to get a better handle on the best way for each of us individually to understand what's happening and to apply the changes that are occurring with each of us, so that we can go forward with the different energy.
We love him too, Pappy, right?
we get to enjoy yours without having one.
Oh, I miss mine, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But Bo makes my day brighter every day. And he doesn't even know it.
Somebody's going to get lucky.
That's cool.
That's what we need, is a big, lovey, talky puppy dog.
Yeah.
With lots of kisses.
Yeah. Edge don't talk much. He just except when someone comes, or he thinks someone's here.
Dash didn't talk much either, but if Daddy started up that cart, that was his cart. That was his cart, and he wouldn't stop talking until he got to go for a run.
Well, the next breed of dog I'm going to get is going to be called the stink eye breed. He won't bark; he'll just give you the stink eye.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I heard Edge and his his brother, whatever it's like his father and his mother. They were wrestling on the ground on this. We got one of the big beds, They both can share it, which is nuts. They start talking to each other, and I swear it sounds alien, man. I ain't kidding you. They're
It
not
might
barking.
be.
They're like vocaling each other. Wow, man. I was like, I looked at Corda and I was like, doesn't that sound like an alien language?
You want me to tell you a secret? Can't
Spirit
tell anybody,
language.
okay? When I was little, when I was about, I think I was about 8 or 9, I just knew that dingoes could talk to dolphins. And so my life's dream at the tender age of 9 was to become a marine biologist, move to Australia, and study the communication between dingoes and dolphins and how we could use that to bridge the gap between land and sea and telepathically communicate with all the animals. That was my whole dream at the tender age of 9.
Wow, that would be cool.
I was just convinced they could talk to each other.
Yeah. I swear they
Some
do.
kind of
I
light
swear
language.
Yeah, I swear they talk to each other. And then our big lab.
No, I
He
wanted
knows
to.
it.
I was gonna be one of those working girls that was so in love with her work that was her life. That was what I was gonna be when I was little. I was
That's
just
cool.
all the animals were my friends.
Yep.
I never,
That's why
I've never in my entire life met an animal that did not like me. I've never met one, not one.
I only met a white shepherd, but I think he could. I was scared of him. and finally one day he broke the chain and got me.
You do realize that fear smells like aggression to a dog.
Oh, that's it.
Our
I bet.
pheromones that we put out, fear smells like aggression to a lot of animals.
I think it smells like bacon.
Something. The only reason I was scared of it was because it was taller than a normal shepherd. And as a kid, I knew that. And when he broke the chain, I tried to get up the ladder to the roof with my dad, and I didn't make it. He caught me in the back.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, at least it didn't scare you off dogs for your life.
No, I've never met it. That's the only animal I ever met. I can. When I go to my cousins up north, I would say, "Hey, we got horses next door, and we can ride them if we want." They would say, "Here, give me some binder twine," and I would go over there and tame the horse down and get on its back and ride it. I wasn't scared of horses at all. Yeah, I had a good life.
Well, you know, we
It's a-
learn to respect animals for what they are. Okay, that doesn't mean that we have to fear them. We need to show them the respect, you know, that they demand for us because they are what they are, and they do, you know, they have their place and they have their own capabilities and stuff. You know, some of which are you know, much better than ours. We cannot outrun most of them, you know. So, and if you know, if you take that and you expand that to your interpersonal relationships, then you can also see that people are what they are. You know, I always say, you know, you can get your dog, and you can train it to do wonderful things. You can dress it up in all the little funny pajamas and everything like that, and treat it like a people or whatever. But really, it's a dog. You know, when it comes down to what it needs to do as a dog, those instincts will kick in. You know, and
Yeah.
I mean, I've some of my, you know, both of my dogs, you know, I mean, they can hold it for a good long time, but it gets to the point where they can't hold it anymore and they're going to go to the bathroom. You know,
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to get angry at them for that because that's what they need to do, you know. And it's the same way if they're fearful or whatever, they'll lash out. You know, if they don't like what I'm doing, you know, they have a way of
It's
conveying that to me, you know, and people are the
understanding
same
the
way.
nature of things, the nature of nature.
Yeah.
But, you know, knowing that, then you can go forward with another precept that I kind of try to operate my life on is that Creator wants me to be down here to be in good relationship with all of creation. That doesn't mean that I have to stand right next to them. Okay. But I need to respect the fact that Creator made that part of creation for me to experience and be part of. Okay. And in that I can truly get behind that and support that 100%. You know, so and I just enjoy the diversity, you know, but you know, like little skunk, it deserves all the respect that it gets. You know, it'll get it from me. I'm not saying that if one come walking right up to me and everything and waddle up to me and start, you know, going around my ankle like a cat does, that I wouldn't probably reach down and pet it. I probably would, because it's displayed to me, you know, a non-aggressive thing. I certainly wouldn't be aggressive to it and try to kick it, because I know what's going to do in defense.
Yep.
You know,
And it's only
and every
defending
time
itself.
he sees me in the woods after that, he's going to pee on me.
I think we gotta, you know, we can apply that kind of knowledge to your everyday life, in your backyard. Your house is not natural, right? So it used to be a blessing if spiders came into your house, not like overtook it or anything. I mean, you should definitely dust and keep your stuff clean, but it used to be counted a blessing if a spider resided in your house over wintertime, because they felt it was a safe enough place that they could entrust their rest. It's
Get
another
those
piece
straight.
of useless knowledge that I have.
Well,
But there,
everything tries to find shelter in inclement weather. You know, I just you know, there's been many a story of people that have gone through like flooding and stuff, and you know, they'll turn around and where they're up out of the high water, they'll find out that they're not alone, but they're, you know, whatever's up there with them isn't being aggressive either. You know,
right.
they're saying, okay, we're all safe for right now. Let's just not bother each other. Okay, snake, you coil up on that side of the roof over there, and alligator, you sit over there. I'll sit over here. Keep an eye on both of you.
And hope you don't look like lunch if they get hungry.
Well,
I
that's if the water don't recede fast enough that every one of us will be food for the other.
don't know how you say that. I got respect for them because they gave me the most deepest feeling that I could ever have. You know that? Pappy knows exactly what I'm talking about too. I was taken out of the country. Then when I went back into the country, work was hard, and the only job that I could get was working on a farm. Everybody was doing their thing, and I was there tending to the barn. We had a little nice cow that was going to have a baby, and she went into labor, and no one was there. And so I had to reach in, put the birthing chains on the calf. I had to reach down inside the calf or the cow to get the birthing chains on. Ran a rope to the stanchion across the barn,
Okay.
and I let her get used to it, and she pulled the baby out by herself. But I kept the rope tight. That's all I did, and
Yeah.
she knew I was trying to help her. When that calf was born, it wasn't breathing, and I grew up in the city, so I'm frantically, I knew CPR and that, so I just started pushing on his chest to get the phlegm out like Uncle used to taught me, and then you cleaned their nose, wiped their nose off with a rag, and then you blow life into them. And the first time that ever happened, it was such a overwhelming feeling. And then the guys came in, and the owner and the manager, and he's like, "What just happened?" I told him what happened, and the owner said, "You know what? I'm going to give you that calf, because without you, it would have died anyway." You know, it was a good experience for me, and I've done it, hundreds of times after, but the first time.
And you guys think we're not co-creators with the divine source? He blew the breath of life back into that baby. What a miracle!
Pappy knows that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we used to assist the cows with their births too. Most of the time, we would use if we did have to pull around the leg to where we usually carried some baling twine with us because you never know when it's going to happen, But
Yep.
I just got used to, as long as the 4 feet were out there and you could see the nose peeking, you could help it along just by reaching down and grabbing a hold of the little legs and give them a little tug out,
Yep.
Yeah, I've had more than a few, but you raised the point there, Robert, of how being out in nature makes you feel. And anyone that lives in a city, I live in the city now, even though I grew up in the country. If you live in a city, when you get an opportunity to go out in the country, all right, and you get over the initial uneasiness of being there because it's different than what you're used to hearing all the time, you'll realize that part of the peacefulness and the energy that Robert talks about, I talk about, Heather talk about, and many others talk about is the realization that everything that is out there seems to be in harmony. There's a balance that is maintained in nature that doesn't seem to be maintained in our cities. And so that is the most striking difference in the energy that you'll feel in the two. Okay, so yeah, nature is where I go if I want to, ground myself, so to speak. And even though I live here in the city, I make sure that my little piece of Aquania, my place of peace, that piece of the earth mother that I've been given to live on in my backyard, is a place of nature. There's no pesticides that I use there. Things grow where they grow. I feed the birds and yeah, I think I've had possum out there and skunk out there and had raccoon out there, and of course the rats from next door, whatever, but I've got hawks that fly in here, because they know also that it's a place of nature for me,
Yeah.
be in harmony.
I'm still adjusting. I'm actually still adjusting, Pappy. Really, it's been just a little bit
Hey.
over a year.
Yeah.
I got a
'Cause
song that came up, Pappy, while you were talking.
Well, you gonna make me wait like a grasshopper?
Easy feeling, and I won't let you down, 'cause I'm already standing on the ground. Everybody remember that one?
Yep.
That's Eagles. Everybody knows that one, right?
Yep. The only thing that lasts forever is the earth and sky, dust in the wind.
Oh,
Everything
yeah,
is
it's dust in the wind.
Oh God,
Yep.
I'm gonna lullaby myself to sleep here.
Well, don't do
I
like
can't-
I do and just
I
pass out.
can't carry a tune unless I turn my drum over, and then I can put it in there and carry it.
I would love to hear about. I know about some of your drums, about some of the differences in drums someday. If you'd be interested in telling me about it, because I find that fascinating.
Yeah. How many do you have actually? Do you know?
Let's see. I've got
How about
our
probably
clan
be better.
family drum. That's where multiple people can sit around. That's kind of like a small powwow drum. I've got my harmony drum, my unity drum. I've got my healing drum. I've got 2 spiritual drums. Okay, so how many is that? 5?
No, wait a minute. Back up. Which ones sit on the floor and which ones are handhelds?
Okay, only one of them sits on the floor.
That's a powwow one, right?
Yeah. That can get 4 people around, enough to cover all 4 directions. But some of the powwow drums that I've sat on, we've had as many as 12 people around them.
Yeah, I've seen it.
They can get big.
Yep.
Yeah, they can get big. But I haven't used our clan drum in quite a while. That's the one that multiple people consider on, simply because I haven't been back up to where the clan is in a number of years now. Especially with this thing going on with the travel and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We usually take along hand drums, and my brothers and sisters, they have their own drums too. So when you get a bunch of hand drums together, it sounds like it sounds like a powwow anyways.
Right.
I got to go to a powwow once, and it was the most magnificent time, most magnificent memory. I can't hear the drums anymore. It's been a lot of years, but I can still feel them.
Yeah.
I still feel them. That makes any sense.
The interesting thing about the powwows or any types of gatherings like that where you go, whether it be a Celtic or a Renaissance or some of these other the jazz festivals and things of that nature. Okay, if you look beyond the accoutrements, if you look beyond the vendor tables, if you look beyond the shiny instruments and that sort of stuff, and see how the music is affecting the people, okay, that's where the medicine is at these things, okay? And a lot of these cultural gatherings where they have these types of musics that they play, the Cajun Zydeco and, some of the blues and things of that nature, that those are literally prayers that are put to music, thoughts and emotions that are put out there with a certain sound vibration that paints colors in people's minds, and they go and they're basically they go forward as a living thing. And that's what when you go to a powwow someplace, for example, and they have a fire in the center, that fire in the center is my indicator right then that it's a sacred space because the fire is in the center. Whether they can have an open fire or not, they may have a symbolized fire there with just a fire pit that they can't light because of local regulations or whatever. Okay, the symbology, the intent is there. Okay, so music has power. The words that are spoken in song with the different frequencies and stuff that you use, the up and downs that inflect certain emotions and things of the singer, have power. The other things that are played along with it that strum their own notes are tools to aid in that power. So all of these things become tools to utilize for the same purpose. Singing and dancing is just another way of praying.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or experiencing a prayer that's been answered by the way it makes you feel. And that's a gift. Those are the blessings that people don't realize that come to us every day. We have more blessings in a day than we can count if you really stop and think about it. I mean, you have to do some deep thinking.
It's easy for me.
Yeah.
Something caught my eye the other day. I looked over. All it was a raindrop on a bush right here by the porch, but it sparkled like it was
A diamond.
hooked up to a 220 battery. That was special to me. Just
well, and that's exactly the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Everybody, if everybody is attentive, you are given the chance to see something and experience something that is unique for you, because you are the center of the universe from where you're standing. And us who are sitting on the other side of the campfire with the smoke in our eyes will never see it. It wasn't meant for us. It was meant for you. That's a gift.
right. Yep.
That's a blessing.
Yep. It's a blessing right there. And a sign. As little as you can be, you can also be big in others' eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And even if I was standing next to you, Robert, I might see it just as a raindrop.
Right.
Or if I looked to my left eye with got the cataract, I might not even see the raindrop.
That's how bright it was. It pulled my attention right to it. Just that one.
Well, that brings up a good point. And Heather, I know that this applies to you. When those things happen to us, okay, the first thing is, oh, it caught my eye. Did it catch your eye or did it catch your heart? Because you can have a flash come out of the corner of your eye, and when you turn and look, there's nothing there. But if you have it, and if it's touched your heart, there will always be something there. So I have a little
Yes.
sign on my stairs where I used to have the treatment section upstairs, where I used to do people's one-on-one healings and stuff like that, and it says, always look for the things that capture your heart, not your eye.
Yep.
The heart's the
I like
truth.
that.
The heart's
Yeah.
the truth.
And you think about that, Robert, that one tiny little drop with that much light and life held within one tiny drop. And we are all one tiny drop in a big ocean. And we all contain that beauty and power of that spark that you saw in that drop yesterday.
North Carolina gifted us a song link in chat too. So
Oh, I
have to
can't
go-
open it. If one of you guys can grab it, that would be.
We'll go ahead.
Well, I don't want. I can't play that on here though because they'll
No.
take the show down. They'll
Oh,
do
that's
the
right.
they'll strike us.
You can go check it out afterwards.
Yes, and I will. Thank you. She has been. If anybody's been reading the comments, she's been putting songs in our comments for different shows and whatnot, and I really am enjoying that. I'm just gonna let you know that I really do. That really makes me smile, and it adds a nice little layer to my day that wasn't there before.
Everything is a teaching if we're open to learning. Okay. And I will tell you this, everyone out there, everyone in the chat, we're not only students, but we're teachers. And there's a precept that I learned a long time ago. And it was taught to me by a military instructor when I went through my methods of instruction training when I used to be a military instructor. And that sergeant told me, he says, look, he said, I'm going to tell you something right now. He says, those that teach must never cease to learn, because each group of students coming in here knows more, and some of them may know more than you if you don't learn it. So if you're going to be a teacher, never cease to learn. And if you have an urge to learn, that means you have an excitement to ask questions. And if you ask questions, you get answers. You get answers, you apply it, you get wisdom. But with the wisdom comes more questions. And you do this all through your life, and pretty soon you can look back on a long life, but you still have the inquiring mind of a child and the wonder of new things learned. And you can pass along teachings just in talking with somebody and not even realize it was a teaching. It was just conversation.
Yeah.
And with an old fellow like me, when I pass along something that perhaps resonates with somebody, I'm glad, because that means I don't have to remember it anymore. I got room for new stuff to come in the other ear now.
Right. We can tell these young people, and they can
Happy.
remember it. Of course.
Yeah, Pappy and Robert have done forgotten more than I've learned yet. Sure.
I wish.
Well, I hoard everything. It's probably stored away somewhere.
Yeah, I'm actually.
It's
I've
been a long
always-
road.
I know I've mentioned it before, but I've always been drawn to both the Celtic and the Native American traditions, the shamanic traditions. But for the longest time, there was no information out there about. And then, little snips of information would start coming out, and books would start coming out, and I really, there's still a draw there for me that I have to delve into. And so I truly appreciate all the wisdom that you share with me, Pappy, because
Right.
and with all the rest of us too, because there isn't only one way of doing any one thing. And it has to come from inside you. Yes, there are some traditional meanings and guidances that we can use however we want to, whatever path we choose. And those guidances are that they're guidances on how to live your life. They're not doctrine. They're guidances. And so let us utilize all the different methods of guiding that are available to us, because there are many. And we, if we stay open to that, I think we grow faster, because we are not limiting our growth to only one. When you plant a garden, I'll put it to you this way: when you plant a garden and you fertilize it, there are three components in fertilizer, three main components: potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus. All right. And those have to be in certain quantities for certain plants. Okay. So when we learn these different things, each one of those nutrients may come from a different path. I'm sorry, did I put somebody to sleep? Each one of those nutrients comes from a different thing. And so being open to all of them will give us a more complete fertilizer to grow with, is all I was thinking. So we do have to wrap it up here pretty soon. It's almost dinner time. My reminder, the dinner bell.
Ha!
I was listening to that little background noise, and it sounded like somebody rocking back and forth in a rocking chair to me. And I was just wondering if that was Robert sitting in a rocking chair.
No, that's what I was listening to that bird too. Some
maybe.
kind of bird. I don't know if it's a crow or not. He's still doing it. Like,
Maybe you got one of them talking ravens over there. We talked
Maybe
about
it's a
Raven
frog.
on the story.
I don't know what that was.
Maybe it's a type of frog.
Oh,
Because there are some frogs that sound like that around our area.
Could
he was
be.
Like their
either-
mom. We hear it all the time at night.
Ventriloquist frog throws his voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
then the crow. It might have been a crow because he crowed after he left. He was going, oh, good.
Yeah, they talk. They actually have a language.
Yeah. Then he took off. Now I don't hear it no more.
Tomorrow
That
morning.
was him. That was a crow.
Thank you, darling.
I think it's snicky snack time myself. Time for
Yeah,
a
it's
snack.
time for. We're doing Mexican tonight. She really loves it when Mom makes torts, and
Gonna have
and
Spanish
whatnot,
rice
so.
tonight.
That would fit right in. Bring it over. Somebody bring the refried beans, and we'll put it all together and have a feast.
I call that slop suey.
Yeah.
I love it when she says Mexican night, because the hardest part of my night is nothing. Waiting for the dough to rest before I put it in the pan. Other than that, because it's so easy. So it makes an easy, nice night for Mom.
I'm having leftover brisket.
Ooh,
Corlene can't
brisket.
eat. I'm taking advantage of it.
Well, put some away for her in the freezer so she can enjoy it later.
Yeah. Well, I got another one. She's funny. I got it made.
Yeah. I think we're all where we're supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
For the time we're in. And I must say, I'm very, very grateful and very thankful just to be in this time with you, with all of you. I really am.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm going to tell you all, if you can stand and you can see to the east of you and to the south of you and to the west of you and to the north of you, and if you look up and you know the sky is right there, and your feet are on the ground, you're right where you're supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
And you're right where you are. And everything in the future starts from where you are right now. On that note, have a good day, everybody.
Love and
Have a
light,
good day,
Pappy.
Pappy. Love you, brother.
Midnight Kamoy, Pappy. You got a final thought, brother?
No, we did good. That was very good.
I know.
Sorry.
I feel just
Good.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys amaze me. You do. Well, thank everybody for joining us, and I will see everybody around tonight. Hopefully. I'm really sorry about last night.
That's
I
it.
was out.
Thanks.
I must have
Goodbye,
needed to
chat.
go.
Glad to interact
Y'all
with
have a
chat.
great day.
Thank you, Anna, for teaching me how to interact with chat. My Wisconsin sister.
Yeah. Hey, keep her puppy in your prayers so he gets better.
Yeah. Get him home.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Love and light to all of you.
Now
And
spread your love.
we'll see you around the circuit and all the good stuff.
Thanks,
that good
Heather.
stuff.
Love
All
you.
right. Love you.
Give Jeff a hug for me.
Absolutely.